Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and I have a tutorial to share with you today. We are going to be making the life cycle of a butterfly using some oven bake clay. So I've got these plastic replicas as inspiration for a project. I'm also going to dip into my polymer clay supplies. I'm not quite sure which ones I'm going to use. I'm checking out these different polymer clays that I have, but the colors aren't quite right. Now I have this new product that I've never tried before, and it's going to end up being an awesome choice. So after I go through my entire box, I end up using this Sculpey Ultra Light oven bake clay. Now I've never used it before, and when I was buying some polymer clay for my daughter earlier this year, I just stocked up on a variety of colors, and I'm used to the polymer clay, but this was a new product that I hadn't ever used before. I am amazed by it. It is awesome. It is my new favorite. It is so easy to work with. It is so soft. It stays soft for a really long time. And when you bake them, they bake really easily and they're lightweight, and you can paint them. So it's a win-win-win all around. I absolutely love it. Look how easy my son is forming the chrysalis of this butterfly. It is so simple to work with. My son is 11 and he did a great job. He did need a little bit of my help in order to get the shape right. I'm going to show you the ones that my daughter did a little bit later on. She's only 7 and she did a phenomenal job. Alright, so this stuff is really easy to work with. It is white, so you want to make sure that your hands are really clean. Mine weren't, but then I knew that I was going to be painting them afterwards, so I wasn't super concerned. And I wasn't sure how it was going to take to the paint, but I am really pleased with the results. I'm just using some of my clay tools in order to give this a little bit of texture so that it resembles the chrysalis. And next, my son is going to use another tool in order to do kind of like these little lines across the chrysalis, and you can kind of see that wing line around the front of the chrysalis. This is my daughter's. I am super impressed with her. She even made the little twig, and this one is mine. Alright, so we're going to put these aside and we're going to work on some of the other pieces. So we're going to make a leaf, and making the leaves were super easy, easier than the chrysalis and easier than the caterpillars we're going to make later on. You just kind of start forming it in your fingertips. I wasn't really concerned about the shape of the leaf. I did want it to resemble the milkweed leaves, but I did not check to see the shape and the size before. Alright, next we're going to work on our caterpillars, and this was again really easy to make, but then I decided to add the forelegs and the hind legs, and that was actually a little bit complicated, and I wasn't sure how well they were actually going to stick and bake, but actually they bake really well and none of those little feet fell off. So I was really impressed with that because I'm not pushing them in quite a lot because I didn't want to change the shape of our caterpillar. And I'm also adding what looks like antennas to the top and the bottom of our caterpillar. Alright, so now it's time to bake everything, and the directions say to bake 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch thickness at 275 degrees. And they're still a little bit flexible, and that's okay by me. If you want to bake them longer, you can. They will get a little bit brown if you over bake them. Alright, so now it's time to paint them, and I'm using some acrylic paint as well as soy paint, and I just have a couple of colors, and so we're going to mix some of these together in order to get the colors that we need for the chrysalis as well as the caterpillars and the leaves. Alright, so I've got this little tray here that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. It's proving to be such a great asset to our art supplies. I highly recommend these. You get 6 of them for $1, and they have come in so handy. Alright, so that's the color I mixed using that cream, black, and green, and I think that it looks just like the plastic sample that we got, and we got that set from Nature Watch. It came with 4 different pieces. Alright, so my kids and I are going to continue painting the leaves and the chrysalis, and then eventually we're also going to do the caterpillar. Now this is for a life cycle of a butterfly project, and while we also do the caterpillar using this clay, it actually doesn't make it onto the final project. We end up using our felted caterpillar instead. Now I have tutorials on all of these projects, and you can find a complete playlist at the end of this video. That link is also in the description box below. Alright, so now we're going to work on our caterpillar, and this one was pretty easy, but I have to say that I'm not as pleased with this result as I am with the chrysalis and the leaves. So I gave it a base of black, but I don't have any yellow, so I'm going to kind of make a creamy color instead, and then I'm going to have some white stripes, or actually some cream stripes, along with that creamy yellow. So it's probably a good time to get some more acrylic paints, but I think that we may do with the colors that we had. My 11-year-old and my 7-year-old are also working on theirs. They found this part of the project a little bit more challenging, but I think they look fine in the end. So now I'm dipping into my STOCKMAR beeswax in order to make the other parts of this life cycle of a butterfly. I am using our remnant pieces that the kids have already played with, and I'm going to make the tiny little caterpillar, and I'm just looking for some yellow and some black. Now this takes a little bit of time to warm up, so a couple of minutes later I've got some nice warm beeswax, and I'm just trying to get it around the same shape and size as those tiny little caterpillars on that leaf. I am also using just a tiny bit of black, and I am just rubbing it between my finger and my palm in order to make a nice little stripe, and then I am putting that onto that little tiny caterpillar, and look how perfectly it fits onto that leaf. It is super cute and of course really educational. Alright, so the last thing I need to do is make the tiny little eggs, and I am just using some clear beeswax, and that was simple. All you'd have to do is make tiny little round balls. Alright, so here's the last thing I want to do for my chrysalis is to add some distress stain in this beautiful bronze color, and I'm just going to give it a nice little line across. In real life, these chrysalis really do look like this. It's amazing. They're so beautiful. Alright, so this is what the little leaf looks like with our little mini caterpillar and the eggs. Of course, you could also use the oven-baked clay for this as well. Probably will last a little bit longer. And this is what all of our little pieces look like together. If you want to see the completed project with these clay pieces, that video is linked in the playlist. You can tap on the screen right now to check it out. And if you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, don't forget that you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.